you get it. These books just, they make sense to me for being spooky October books. Spooktober books. These are them. I'm gonna go through all of the spooky books that I have on my shelf that I wanna read. Also, I wanna go through my Storygraph and go through my spooky TBR on there for books that I don't have yet. I also have a couple books coming from Thrift Books. They're getting here tomorrow, and there's some spooky ones in there. So I'll throw those in the mix. Should we start with the king, Stephen King? I don't know if he's really the king, but I actually have a few Stephen King books. So I have Salem's Lot, Pet Sematary, and then I have his new one, Fairy Tale. Also, If It Bleeds, which is a collection of short stories, which I read a few of. I want to read Salem's Lot, which is only his second book. I believe it's vampire-y, and I want to read that. I'm gonna read a few vampire books, I think. I also want to read Pet Sematary. If I'm interested, I'll read a couple of the short stories from If It Bleeds. I don't really want to read Fairy Tale I want to read this in November. I feel like it'd be a better November read. Okay, my next books are up here. Let's get this stack down. These books. First in this stack, we've got Fangland by John Marks. It's a little messed up because this is insane. This is like crazy that I did this. I'm literally 317 pages in. I'm on chapter 44 in book 13, but I didn't finish. Why would I do that? Why would I read that much and then not finish? Because I remember liking it too. It's like about vampires. So I'm gonna finish this. I don't know if I wanna I don't think I'm gonna restart it though. I think I'm just gonna go into it from chapter 44 and finish it up. I think I'm gonna do that in a video where I'm reading like spooky stuff for 24 hours. I think I'm gonna try to do one of those. Okay, then we've got The Sacrifice by Ren Chupeco. So this is actually set on an island in the Philippines, which is kind of why I picked it up, but it's like horror, it's spooky. Basically, Filipinos warn people about this island. They say it's cursed, and this film crew, a Hollywood film crew, decides to go, and they get a local teen to be their guide. Pristine beaches, lush greenery, and perfect weather, the island of Kisitmata would be the vacation destination, if not for the curse. We got The Wilder Girls by Rory Power. I actually just got this book from Thrift Books. It's like a little ripped on the bottom, but it's fine. It's in pretty good condition. I got it really cheap. So, yes, okay. This one is about the Raxter School for Girls has been under quarantine for 18 months. When Bayat goes missing, Hetty will do anything to find her, even if it means breaking quarantine and braving the horrors that lie beyond the fence. So it's like a classic going out, seeing what's beyond the fence. You don't know what's out there. Next, we've got Their Vicious Games by Joelle Wellington. I've got my little book in here because I've actually started it. I just started it yesterday. Ooh, I'm like 35 pages in. Adina Walker, who's on scholarship. She's headed to an Ivy League. Something happens and she gets blacklisted. To regain the future she sacrificed everything for is The Finish, a high-stakes contest sponsored by Edgewater's founding family in which 12 young, ambitious women with exceptional promise are selected to compete in 3 mysterious events: the Ride, the Raid, and the Royal. But something is not quite right with The Finish. I don't know what yet, but I'm hella excited to find out. I've been really wanting to read this one. It's a new release of 2023. This one I'm really excited for. This one, it just screams October. Like, look at it and tell me you don't want to be reading this in October. The Witch and the Vampire by Francesca Flores. Oh, I forgot to mention, wait. This is queer. And I think The Sacrifice is also queer. Then this is sapphic. Let me just tell you this, like, a queer Rapunzel retelling where a witch and a vampire who trust no one but themselves must journey together through a cursed forest with danger at every turn. Come on. That sounds so good. That literally sounds so good. Okay, like listen to this review. This review is by Sonia Hartle, who wrote The Lost Girls, which is a book that I also want to read. It's like vampires and it's queer. So I really want to read that. But this is what she has to say about the book. An enchanting world with fast-paced action, plenty of twists, and a sweet romance at the center. For anyone who wished Tangled had been a little more dark and a lot more gay. Get out of here. I love I'm so excited. I might pick this one up next. I'm literally so excited to read it. And you're gonna hate me because you're gonna see a lot of my books don't have dust jackets on them, and that's because when I was I used to not like them and I would take them off and I would throw them away. I'm sorry about it. I know that that's awful, but that's what I would do because I didn't like having them on there. And what was I gonna do? Just like keep them somewhere? No, I threw them away. I would throw them away. I remember throwing them in my trash can. With that being said, Asylum by about some kids who go to a school, and like the past of the school is that it was like asylum, they get trapped, spooky stuff is happening, it's spooky. I might have read it before, TBH, but it's a trilogy. I think I have read it, but I want to read it again because it's a trilogy and I want to read the other two. This Coven Won't Break, which is the sequel to These Witches Don't Burn by Isabel Sterling. Put These Witches Don't Burn right here because I like that cover too. Here's this cover. This was a library book, Wake County, North Carolina, public libraries. But these books are witchy and they're queer. Hannah's proud lesbianism is prominent in this thoroughly entertaining mystery, with the presence of fluffy romance and the promise of an action-packed sequel. Readers will drink this one up. That's what they're talking about for These Witches Don't Burn. So I really want to read These Witches Don't Burn and then this one after. It's a sapphic witchy duology. I don't really know what else to say besides that. That's it. Like, that just sounds so good. Okay. I'm just looking around. Oh! Summer Suns by Lee Mandello. Also, I want to read Feed Them Silence by Lee Mandello. I believe it's just like a novella. It's pretty short. It's got a lamb on the cover. I think it has something to do with animals, but it's like horror. It's really dark. This is also very dark. Queer Southern Gothic. Let's just take that in right now and just say, yeah, that sounds amazing and it sounds right up my alley. Andrew and Eddie, graduate program at Vanderbilt, which is fun. Racing with academic intrigue, all haunted by a hungry ghost. I've heard really, really good things about this. I've heard it's horror, it's dark. I'm really excited to read it. Gillian Flynn. I want to read Gone Girl and Dark Places by her. I read Sharp Objects this summer. It was really dark and twisted and dark. But I want to read her other books. Gone Girl, I feel like it's such a classic. And then Dark Places is about the Satan sacrifice. Libby's on the run from a killer. It's also a movie, which would be fun to watch afterward. I've already seen Gone Girl, which is a bummer, but I still want to read it and probably watch the movie again anyway. But Dark Places, I haven't seen the movie, so I can read it and then watch the movie. I've got this book, Concerning Those Who've Fallen Asleep. It's a collection of short stories. They're haunting, dark, explores the spaces where we haunt each other and ourselves through our choices, dreams, and institutions. I really don't know. I just picked this up randomly, and I think that's all the ones on my shelf. Now, let me just look at my story graph and make sure that there's not any on there that... Also, okay, so the books that are coming from Thrift Books. These Witches Don't Burn, and then What Big Teeth that is werewolves or something. Very spooky, very good for October. So I've got those coming. Those are coming tomorrow. And then let me just see if there's any spooky ones on my TBR on here. You're Not Supposed to Die Tonight. I'm reading that for my book club with one of my friends. More like a buddy read. It's like a slasher horror, perfect, you know, takes place at a summer camp. And then Cinderella's Dead, like takes place in the universe of Cinderella, but she's like, it's like 200 years after Cinderella found her prince, and now a girl's trying to kill the king. And then This Poison Heart, I don't remember what that one's about, but it's dark, sapphic in some way. I think they'd all be good October reads. Potentially, they're all queer, I think. A Touch of Gin by Beth Morgan. It's horror. It's about this couple that gets really obsessed with this girl on social media, and then they get invited to a real life like vacay with her or something, and shit starts going down. I don't know what happens. I just know it gets freaky. So I want to read that. I also want to read My Heart is a Chainsaw trilogy, the Indian Lake trilogy by Stephen Graham Jones. It's supposed to be like, it's like an indigenous slasher. I don't know. It's a trilogy. Apparently it's good. I want to read them. House of Hunger by Alexis Henderson. That's a classic sapphic book. Vampires, I think. Vampires? I don't know. Carmilla. I want to read Carmilla, but I want to read the version that's edited by Carmen Maria Machado. I'm so excited. Oh, Girl Serpent Thorn is also coming by Melissa Bashardoust. That's coming from Thrift Books. It's about a girl poisonous to the touch. It's a fantasy, but poisonous to the touch, I feel like that's like creepy. And it's sapphic. Ooh, Grady Hendrix books. How to Sell a Haunted House I haven't read. And I haven't read We Lost Our Souls. There's so many books I want to talk about. Scorched Grace, a Sister Holiday mystery. Dowry of Blood. Sapphic. Sawkill Girls. It's like about girls against some sort of monster or something. I Feed Her to the Beast and the Beast is Me by Jameson Shea. Ooh, I want to read Night of the Living Queers, 13 Tales of Terror Delight by Shelley Page. There's No Way I Die First by Lisa Springer. Oh, I'm also getting Horrid by Katrina Lino from Thrift Books. I also have this other book from her, You Must Not Miss. This is about this girl that writes about this place called Near, and it's like an imaginary place, and then it becomes real, and it's about her getting her revenge. Channeling early Stephen King at his best, an exceedingly creepy gut punch of a tale. Ooh, I like that. I like that a lot. Okay, those are all the books that I want to read, all the spooky books that I want to read them all now. I want to read them all now. Unfortunately, I can't, and I probably won't be able to read them all this month because there's quite a few, but I'm gonna try my best. Horror is a genre for me all year round. Doesn't have to be October for me to read dark horror stuff. Definitely doesn't have to be. Hope you had fun watching what I want to read. Spooky things I want to read. I hope you read something spooky too. Read something scary. Read something that really, really scares you. It'll be fun. Read something different. Not just a thriller too, like something dark. Something fucking dark and scary. Because those books are out there, and I feel like you're just like not tapping into it like you should. And I'm not either. I'm gonna be honest, I'm not either, but I'm trying, okay? I'm on the right path forward to reading all the scary books. I'm getting scared. I'm getting way scared. That's it. Mwah, mwah, mwah. Go read a book.